Welcome back. It has been nearly 5 years since I created daily and weekly crypto and blockchain content, but I am so happy and glad to be back and excited. And boy, have we come a long way. To everyone who's been here, we often call it the class of 2017 because so many people came in at 2017. But for all those that have been here for years and years and have hung in there, congratulations. I think my last video, XRP might have been 30 cents. And here we are sitting today, it's at $2.40. So congrats for those who hung in there. We weren't crazy. All of our friends, family members, and neighbors and colleagues all thought we were nutcases when we were talking about digital assets. And we had to try and bring them up to speed if we could and convince them that we weren't crazy and stay sane in the process because we went through a lot. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you came to see my first new video back. And I look to provide some really great content moving forward, some good news stuff, and definitely some really good educational stuff. And I'll share with you some of the things that I've been up to and doing recently. Let's jump into prices. So Bitcoin today is at $108,000. I think my last video I made, it was like $27,000. Ethereum's at $3,805. Boy, I remember when we were buying Ethereum at 95 bucks. I miss those days. Tether is still holding comfortably at $1. I just wish they wouldn't even bother putting the stable coins on these lists because their pricing shouldn't, it shouldn't fluctuate, although sometimes it does, but it really doesn't matter to the people that invest in digital assets. BNB, Binance coin, is just blowing up. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but it passed XRP. It's not by much. I mean, the market cap is a little bit higher, but there's some big things happening at BNB. People are using that token and they're doing really good over there. So good for CZ Binance. Which really puts XRP, if we remove Tether, in the 4th position right now. But at the end of the day, year after year, day after day, month after month, it's always been Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. And I know the old timers remember the days, I think it was 2 or 3 times, when XRP actually passed Ethereum in market cap. And boy, did Twitter, because it's just so hard to call it X, but boy, did it blow up. I mean, things just went crazy when that happened. But the other thing I wanted to point out is, there's always so much talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum, and obviously, the mainstream media is always, talking the Bitcoin and Ethereum, plot lines and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, if we look at the 1-year returns, XRP is currently at 356% on the 1-year return. And Bitcoin's at 63% and Ethereum's at 49% and Binance Coin's at 85%. But by far, XRP is smoking everyone. And there's so many great, exciting things happening for XRP right now, which I know that all of you have been paying attention. Eleanor Terrett had posted this yesterday, and this was posted by Eric Balchunas. He had posted the ETP filings. And just to be clear, a lot of times we hear people call these ETF filings. He's calling it an ETP, which is more accurate. So an ETF is an exchange traded fund, which fund would mean it's more than one asset. An exchange traded product usually means it's one asset. So when you talk about Solana, Bitcoin, or XRP being put in an ETF, it's really an ETP unless it were a basket or a couple of assets together. So just for some clarity on that. But look at this. I mean, there are 155 ETFs pending right now. We're in the holding pattern, obviously, with the government shutdown. That needs to come to an end. I think we've all had enough of that. So, our lawmakers, they need to stop getting paid. They need to stop getting lunch served to their offices. They need to stop getting transportation paid by the taxpayers. They have to start feeling the pain that the people are feeling and make some decisions and get in there and work out a deal. So, this needs to get over. We've waited so long for these ETFs, especially or ETPs, I should say, especially for XRP. I mean, look, we've been in pain the longest. We've had more pain inflicted on us than everyone else. And we're waiting for this to happen. So hopefully they can wrap this thing up quickly and we can see these things start to get approved. This was Eric Trump yesterday talking about his prediction on Bitcoin. And I'm just going to roll it, a short clip here. I'm going to let you listen to it.
I believe that you're going to have $1 million Bitcoin. I think we're going to be at 200,000 before we know it. I think we're going to have a phenomenal fourth quarter. Fourth quarter is always incredible for cryptocurrency. It's always been incredible for Bitcoin. It's probably your best quarter of all. You take that with money supply exploding around the world right now. You take that, you add to the uncertainty. You take all the kind of fissures in the dam that are cracking right now. You better believe we're in the heyday of cryptocurrency and we're only on the 1 yard line with 99 yards left to go.
That's amazing. So it's, $1 million Bitcoin. Look, I got my first Bitcoin. It was $3,300. I'll never forget it. If you had told me it was going to hit $25,000 at that point, I would have never believed it. But I recently had dinner with some friends and I said, look, there will be a day we'll be sitting here having dinner and Bitcoin will be $1 million. And there will be a day we'll be sitting having dinner and Bitcoin could be $5 million. And I gave them the examples of XRP. I said, I'm very comfortable saying that I believe there will be a day that we'll be sitting down talking about how we were buying XRP at 11 cents and 18 cents and 23 cents and sometimes $3 because we like to accumulate. But we'll be talking about XRP when it's 25 and 50 and even more. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. So I really believe that. It's just a matter of time. One of the things I would tell you is one of the things I've learned in this digital asset space after all of these years is the people who have done the best are the people who have held the longest. And I'm not saying that taking profits isn't good. No, taking profits is great. But I'm telling you, the people who have done the best are the people that have hung on the longest. And I'm going to be sharing some stories over the next week or so about some of the biggest mistakes I've ever made and some of the things that I've done that I would hope that no one will ever do. But I had to learn the hard way, and a lot of people have learned the hard way. But hanging on to the assets that you invest in long term is been the best bet that I've ever seen so far in this space. And when I was a real estate broker for over 20 years, I would always tell, especially young people, never buy a house that you don't intend to be in a minimum of 5 years. And if somebody asked me, and I'm not giving financial advice, but if my sister asked me today and said, hey, I want to buy some digital assets, what would you recommend? I'd say, well, look at the top performers. Certainly I like Bitcoin and I like Ethereum and I'm a big XRP bull, but don't buy anything you don't intend to hold a minimum of 5 years, because that is always the key. And if you go back and look at XRP 5 years ago and XRP today, you would agree. If you look at Bitcoin 5 years ago and Bitcoin today, you would agree. If you look at Ethereum or Cardano, any of them, you'd have to agree. Once again, taking profits is not a bad thing at all, but the people who have done the best are the people that hung on the longest. This is the COO of BlackRock. I'm going to play it, real short clip.
I think it's quite clear that if there are $4.5 trillion in digital wallets today, that number is going up, not down, and that wealth accumulation is going to have the ability to create the whole portfolio in that digital wallet. 5 years from
It's amazing. I mean, we were the kooks, we were the crazy ones, we were the nutcases. And now BlackRock is here. Everyone's here. Everyone is at the party today. I mean, there isn't anyone that isn't at the party today. There's one group that's not at the party today, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute, which they had better get their heads put on straight. But they were talking about tokenization in this particular interview, And tokenization for me is going to be the most exciting use case of blockchain we ever see in our lifetimes. And I'm going to be talking a lot about tokenization. And I'm going to be talking about what I think is going to be happening with the future of tokenization and why, if you're in digital assets, you should be so excited about it. And the people who aren't in digital assets are going to be excited about it when they learn. And people need to learn, and we've got to help them get to that level so that they feel comfortable and confident about digital assets. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Jim Cramer today said crypto is due for a push today. So everyone brace yourselves. We never like when Jim Cramer says something positive about crypto. I want to share this. Everyone has heard the news about Evernorth, and they're going public with a $1 billion proceeds toward an XRP investment. It's going to be a SPAC. And Chris Larson had posted that he was going to invest 50 million XRP into the company, which is just absolutely fantastic. But the reason why I bring this up isn't for the great news. I mean, all these XRP treasuries are amazing. In fact, let me jump over. There is a tracking page called bitcointreasuries.net if you're interested, and you could look at all of the companies that have Bitcoin in their treasuries, which I think is amazing. And I'm looking forward to somebody building one of these, and there might be, and if you know, please let me know. But I'd like to see one for XRP because these XRP treasuries are being built out now, and it would be great for us to be able to track them. But back to Chris Larson, the reason I bring this up is there was some FUD out there on X about wallets moving XRP, and what I would tell you is this, and one of the lessons in this space is don't overreact too quick to anything you see. Because there were people saying, oh my God, someone's gonna dump XRP, oh my God, and there's all this, people get crazy, because instantly you think something negative, and it wasn't anything negative. Chris Larson was moving XRP to make an investment in this company. So don't move too fast. And when I say that, it's also a security thing, right? Because a lot of times when these phishing attacks happen and these hacking attacks happen and all these different, and I've got so many stories of people I know that have been hacked, and we're going to talk about this over time. But one of the things I would tell you is take a deep breath when you see negative posts on Twitter. Don't do anything until you take the time to research what's really going on. Don't dump anything, don't sell anything, and I'm going to tell you a story very soon about a fire sale that I made one day, and it cost me a beach house, and I'm going to tell you about it. It's a heck of a story, but I overreacted once and dumped a bunch of assets that I shouldn't have. But I'm sharing these experiences with you because a lot of you have done it too, but there are newer people here and I want them to learn, so it's really, really important that we help educate people and teach them about digital assets, which brings me to the group that's not paying attention. Financial advisors. Some of you out there, I speak to a lot of people in this space, and I've been doing some consulting work for some companies in this space, the crypto space. And I've spent a lot of time speaking with financial advisors this year. And if there's one thing I've learned about financial advisors is they don't understand anything about digital assets. In fact, there's this particular article says 62% believe recommending speculative assets such as Bitcoin does not align with their fiduciary duty. They have to wake up, okay? Because there's also an article out there that says 82% of the people that inherit from the baby boomer generation are going to fire the baby boomers advisors. So advisors out there, wake up. I know that your companies are slow to move and it's taken a lot of time, but you've got to get out there. You've got to learn about digital assets, and you've got to start talking to people about it. And even some of the advisors I talk to say, I'm invested in digital assets, but I'm afraid to talk to my clients about it. They're afraid. Meanwhile, their clients are investing in digital assets. They have their own Coinbase account. So they have to have the guts to talk about digital assets, which brings me to one of the last things I want to talk about, which is one of the things I did was, after speaking to all of these financial advisors, I thought to myself, my God, there is a need to educate financial advisors. How can I help educate them so they feel a sense of confidence about the digital asset space? So I decided to build what I call Blockchain Bootcamp. And essentially, it's a 90-minute program. And as I was building it out for financial advisors, I thought to myself, well, why wouldn't I just build this out for retail people, for normal people too? So I built 2 crypto programs that are made to advance somebody into digital assets several years, right? You know, if you've been here a while, all the hours of videos and podcasts and interviews and all the time you've put in, right? You've learned so much because of all of the investment of time. And a lot of people won't take that time or don't have that time, and most of them just won't commit that time. So what I've done is this: I've compressed 8 years of my digital asset experience, boom, into an hour and a half. And I've got 2 different programs. I've got one for retail investors. I've got one for financial advisors. You can find this on cryptocoachnick.com. What I would tell you is this: if you're already crypto native, you've been here for years, this might not be for you. If you're newer, it probably is for you. If you still have family and friends and colleagues and loved ones that you want to learn about digital assets, maybe you could tell them about it. Because, you know, we've all grown tired of teaching people this space. But you know what? We still need to help folks learn it. So to financial advisors out there, or if anyone has a financial advisor, here's a program for you. It's not very expensive. It's $249 for financial advisors. It's $199 for retail investors. It's an hour and a half. Here's what you get. It's self-paced, done by me. There's 8 chapters in each course. 27 lessons for the financial advisor for the retail edition, and 32 lessons for the financial advisor edition. And take a look at it. Go to cryptocoachnick.com and tell your friends about it if you think they need to learn about digital assets. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be back, and I can't wait to catch up with a lot of folks that I haven't spoken to in a while. But before I go, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research, and I will catch you all on the next one.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Don't call it a comeback.